Good evening, welcome to the Buck Stops here. I'm Vishnu Shom. On the program this evening, last Monday, the dreadful Gurdaspur attack. And what did we see over there? Policemen with nothing but their courage intact, getting those terrorists eliminated. No bulletproof jackets, very poor weaponry in many cases, very poor tactical sense in many cases. 2015, is this where the Indian Jawan is? On the program this evening, bulletproof jackets, a basic requirement, and we'll tell you a story with a real difference. It's not that we can't make bulletproof jackets in India. In fact, we make some of the best bulletproof jackets in the world, but we export them. We also supply them to our forces, but the process of procurement is dreadfully slow. Is this outdated procurement process the real problem? Also on this program, we will tell you the irony of it all. Indian manufacturers of world-class bulletproof jackets provided to the German army, to the British army, to French forces, to police forces in the United States. It's good enough for them, but apparently it still needs more time to be accepted by our police forces. Meanwhile, the police don't use bulletproof jackets in some instances at all. It costs about 1 lakh rupees per kit. World-class kit. Is a Jawan's life worth less than the 1 lakh rupees it costs? One of the most shocking images from the Gurdaspur terrorist encounter. A Punjab policeman with no bulletproof jacket and no helmet fires his antique self-loading rifle against terrorists equipped with AK-47 automatic rifles. Here, a heavily built cop waddles across a zone of gunfire, his rifle dangling by his side, again wearing no protective equipment. Policemen who fought terrorists in Gurdaspur tell us the special weapons and training or SWAT forces leading the charge did indeed have bulletproof vests. The rest of them who didn't would apparently rely on these men as their shields, a bizarre policing technique by any definition. Why in 2015 are our policemen less protected than soldiers fighting the First World War a century ago? Believe it or not, there are solutions right under our nose. And here's the irony. Did you know that India is considered a world leader in body armor technology? Did you know that bulletproof jackets and helmets built to the highest specifications of personal protection are not just built in India, but exported to more than 230 forces in over 100 countries? Among the users, the British, German, Spanish and French armies, and police forces stretching from Japan in the east to the US in the west. Building body armor or bullet-resistant helmets isn't rocket science. In fact, there is technology easily available in our country through world-class companies which have the installed capacity to meet the requirements of the police, paramilitary and the Indian Army in a little bit more than a year. But here's a strange irony. In Gurdaspur, like in so many other cases, there were many journalists who had bulletproof vests and bulletproof helmets. There were many policemen who didn't have it. When will we have a situation when the word police, goes on to bulletproof jackets for our policemen across the country? The lack of a helmet cost this man, Baljit Singh, a Punjab police SP, his life. Undaunted by the Gurdaspur terrorists, Baljit challenged the terrorists to come out and fight. Instead, they shot him dead.
He wore the bulletproof jacket, but he has a turban on the head, so he didn't worn any helmet on the head. He alone, he said his ASI to get aside, I'll handle those people. And he is bravely shouting, come out, face to face, I'll fight face to face.
Here at Kanpur-based MKU, India's largest manufacturer of body armor, the biggest problem often lies with the mindset of the police forces that they have to deal with.
Most of our police forces, or rather the reserve police as well in the states, are mostly equipped for anti-riot protection, but not for the such anti-terrorist operations. They are not equipped for facing these kinds of threats. There has to be deep thinking over this issue within the policymakers.
According to estimates, there is a standing requirement of at least 50,000 bulletproof kits in India's police forces, but there is never a clear indicator since individual states handle their own law and order decisions and rarely spell out a requirement until they finally come out with a tender. But the problems really begin when the acquisition process begins. Deadlines for acquisition are frequently extended. State forces refuse to reveal the methodology they use in assessing the capability of a particular system. Vendors looking to sell to police forces have serious questions with the evaluation process. Vendors often have to wait indefinitely for answers to queries that they may have. And all this happens even before price negotiations have begun with a shortlisted vendor. And so the wait continues. In 2001, policemen battling terrorists who attacked Parliament used pistols. During 2611, the lathi-wielding cops were no match to the likes of Kasab. And now in 2015, there remain two constants: the bravery of India's policemen and the fact that they remain poorly armed and poorly protected. Does anyone care? Vishnu Shom for NDTV. Well, what an irony that you see over there. On the one hand, we make world-class body armor. On the other hand, it's not used enough by our own police forces. What about police training? What exactly can we learn from the attacks that took place in Gurdaspur? Joining us now, three experts in their own right who've dealt with the issue of police training and of police protection and of the weaponry they use. We're joined by Ian Rammohan. He is a former DG of the Border Security Force. Kiran Bedi, the former top cop, also with us, and General VP Malik, the former Chief of Army Staff, to give us some perspective on this issue. Mr. Rammohan, let me ask you this first. Isn't it very strange that the German army, the French army, British forces, American police are all okay with acquiring Indian-made, top-of-the-line, bulletproof vests, but we keep taking years and years over a tendering process? The end result is we find a Gurdaspur-like situation where our men fight without wearing any bulletproof vests.
The audio is gone.
Sir, can you hear me now, sir?
Audio is gone. Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, let me just go. Let me put that.
Yes,
let me put that
now.
question to Kit. Yeah, go ahead.
I'd like to
go
tell
ahead,
you
sir.
something about this. Hello.
Okay, we're going to try and fix that line with Mr. Rammohan over there. Sorry, apologies for that. But Kiran Bedi, let me put that question to you. All the state-of-the-art technology exists today in India, and yet we find ourselves in this situation where we fight the way we fought in Gurdaspur, policemen not wearing bulletproof jackets at all.
Did the DGP Punjab police say they had them, or did they say they were in short supply?
He said both. The chief minister went to the home minister and said they are in short supply, and the DGP is reported to have said that they actually were there in his possession, but our Munda fight like this.
I've lost you. I'm not getting it.
Okay, so more technical problems over there. Obviously not a particularly good day for us. Let me just go across to General VP Malik. General Malik, what does this say about us in 2015 when we've got this situation where our policemen on the ground don't have bulletproof vests to fight with?
Yeah, Vishnu, firstly, I must compliment the Punjab police for neutralizing those 3 terrorists. But seeing the images, it raises 3 important observations. My first observation is the deployment policy of the Punjab police. Second is their equipment policy, weapons and equipment policy, which you are discussing in detail. And third also is their operational discipline, which I thought was lacking. Now, coming to the deployment policy, I noticed that there were 2 home guards in that police station. Now, home guards are not supposed to man police stations. They are supposed to be in villages where there are no policemen. And you can't expect the home guards with .303 rifle to be manning a police station. And that is why they became the first casualties. And they were using .303 rifles of the First World War vintage. I cannot imagine anyone today to be using .303 rifle, that bullet action rifle of First World War. I think it is criminal to equip anyone with that kind of a rifle when everybody is moving around with automatic weapons these days. So the equipment policy, the deployment policies are both connected. I do not like to see a very large number of policemen on VIP security duties. A large number of them are deployed in and around Chandigarh, where their so-called VIPs are around. Hundreds of policemen are protecting the VIPs, but when it comes to the police station on the border, you do not have adequate number of policemen. You do not give them the right kind of weapons and equipment.
Okay.
And what you are saying is right, that these things are available within the country. The problem is that no... May I continue?
Finish your... Yes, go ahead, sir. Go ahead, General.
You see, the problem is that everyone tries to give its own qualitative requirement for bulletproof jackets. Now, bulletproof jackets cannot stand all kinds of small arms today. When there are so good small arms available, they will penetrate any kind of bulletproof jacket. You have to be very specific. What kind of bulletproof jacket do you want? 5.56 rifle, what kind of muzzle velocity, or 7.62 rifle.
General Malik, I just want to go back to Mr. Ram Mohan right now, because I think we've got the line up with him, and I'll come back to you in a moment. Mr. Ram Mohan, let me ask you this. Make in India is a standard policy of this government. Now, obviously, law and order is a state subject. That being said, isn't it a strange irony that we actually produce state-of-the-art technology in terms of body armor, and we just don't have systems in place whereby we can quickly divert these to our forces, to our police forces on the ground?
Can you hear me now? Audio was not there. Are you able to hear me now? Hello?
So go ahead, sir.
Can you hear me?
So go ahead.
I can't. You are hearing me? Yes, okay. You see, I will tell you, the border security force is a central government's force. Punjab police is a state police force. If this particular police station was close to the border and there was a possibility that militants might come in and attack this police station, then they would have had to have an armed police element. You cannot expect district policemen to be proficient in using weapons, and particularly these sophisticated weapons. So there should have been an armed police element, and the armed police element should have been equipped just like the paramilitary forces are equipped. Now BSF was deployed in Kashmir when the insurgency broke out, and in no time at all they procured bulletproof vests. I remember I went there in '93, and the bulletproof vests were made of solid steel, iron, and they weighed a couple of kgs. And I used to wear that along with the Jawans and go to operational areas. Subsequently we got lighter ones made of special material which had the same strength as the steel and stopped the bullets. Everything depends upon the leadership of the force to see that their men are properly protected and properly equipped with the correct kind of weapons. Obviously Punjab police has not looked into this, and they probably thought that Gurdaspur is not exactly in the line of approach of militants from across the border.